Up on the roof.
Hello and welcome back to a new version of Up on the Roof with me, Will, Joe and Ben.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
So we started the podcast last year, I can't remember what month, maybe in October, November, and we've decided to come back and we're changing it up where we're going to be doing 2 to 3 topics, going in depth in them. We'll do our research and we'll try to inform you guys and inform each other of what we are talking about. So I'm going to go first with my topic. At the end of last year, there was a lot of kerfuffle with drones in the UK, mainly near Gatwick. And I'm just here to say I've looked up loads of drone laws from the UK to the US and seen comparisons of what they've got and what we've got, okay?
My housemate was going to Denmark when that happened, and it got cancelled.
What was he flying from Gatwick? Obviously, he was flying.
Yeah, he was flying from Gatwick, and
Nah, mate, he was actually flying from Edinburgh.
But they cancelled it anyway. They just thought,
they thought, oh, there's drones down in London. We can't fly from Edinburgh, can we now?
Yeah, so like
in
the UK at this present moment in time, there is no legal obligation for you to have a license to fly a drone whatsoever.
under a certain height.
Under a certain height. So the height you can only allow your drone to fly at is 400 feet. Now, if if an aircraft's coming in like it was in Gatwick, that's still quite high for an aircraft.
You don't need a commercial license if you're doing it for business.
Yeah, so if you're doing it for business, it's like if you're getting paid for it, you need to get a license from the CAA, which is the Civilian Aviation Authority. Yeah, authority.
That's just a apply here, isn't it?
Yeah, so that's only if you're getting paid.
Yeah,
So
but what, you don't have to go on a course, do you?
It's literally just saying that you're getting paid to fly.
All I'm saying is, though, to take it above 400, though, there wasn't a lot of safety restrictions on the DJI app.
No, there wasn't.
It was slide a button across, and we were there.
Yeah.
Not saying that we've done it.
Yeah,
No, God, no.
There's a bunch of things like that, though, where it's against the law, but not much is really stopping you from breaking it.
You know how like I've heard on some people, like they got to limit sales, or they got to, you got to do stuff to get one.
Yeah.
I just looked on Amazon. You can get a racing drone, same size as a DJI, for £100 and build it yourself, and then with a camera on, and fly off.
Why not just do what they do with air rifles?
They just have a lot. Like that's what I think
you don't have a
should
license
happen.
for air rifles. You get put on a register, and it just has no name on it.
Yeah,
that's what I think should happen. There should be more restrictions for you to be able to own a drone. Like some of the laws that you've got to follow as a drone flyer in the UK is that you're not allowed to fly it within 50 meters of person, vehicle, or building. You've got to always keep eyesight on your drone.
Standard.
Yep.
Obviously, not fly it near airports.
So when are you going to hand yourself in then, Adam?
Yeah.
No, we all know you in London that weekend.
Yeah. It's London, boys.
You have some Snapchatters. We've got evidence. We screenshotted you of the Snapchat map just outside of Gatwick.
Like, do you really think you should have more restrictions then?
I think it should be a little bit harder to get your hands on one.
Why?
Because
everyone's saying that recently.
No,
all the old fogies
I
saying,
honestly think that we should
have
because
more regulations.
Not more like a little, like at least put an age limit on it.
So have toy helicopters had their registrations?
No, because you can't take that up to a certain height.
Or if we have like remote control speedboats, do we have to like tell the Navy?
You just
have to have
because you're not going to take that into the fucking ocean, are you?
Fucking meme.
just in case we're gonna strap something to it and we're gonna like sink a submarine with it.
No.
Just another quick question.
Yeah.
What stops someone getting a model airplane and flying that across an airport?
Nothing.
Is it like, that's okay, it's not a drone?
Altogether then, there should be not restrictions, but tighter laws
remote control vehicles. No.
Just no.
Don't worry, people. I have my robot.
Because let's be honest here,
Toy Story
would be a very different story if that RC car, you had to have registrations for it, you had to have documentation.
No, but the thing is, like,
you couldn't let it get out your eyesight.
a difference between a fucking RC car and something that can fucking fly.
Have
do
you
we
seen
draw
an
the line?
RCXD car in COD, Adam? That thing is lethal.
Where do you draw the line, Adam? It's the point we're making here.
Well, that's when you've got to leave it up to the fucking government.
Well, they're fucking shit.
Yeah, because Ben's topic's going to prove to you in a minute why you can't do that.
But like in America, you've got if you even buy a drone, you've like no matter even if you're getting paid for it or whatever, according to this, you've got to register it to the FAA under drone laws, even if you're going to fly it in your back garden.
But guns are illegal in America. Are they the people we should be listening to?
So you're saying at the moment with like they're like getting a high, you know, in America you can get a gun over the counter of Best Buy.
Yeah, we can't
and
get a
Walmart.
drone.
You can't get a drone.
You have to apply for a drone. I don't think America can really talk about licensing shit. That's dangerous.
I can see where you're coming from, Adam. Definitely about
The most regulations we should do about drones is do what you do with the low-powered air rifles. Just have to show an ID and your name gets put on a register. That is it. That's all that you should be doing.
That, and it should be up to the companies to make it, like DJI or like GoPro, so they've got a drone as well, to make it so you can not fly it within the certain perimeter.
That can just be fucking jailbreaked.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because how many cool shots have you seen from drones going above like 400?
A fair decent amount. But
Yeah, so I mean, like,
it's not gonna do
worth
anything.
it. Like for like creativity, you can't just then go and bottleneck it.
Yeah, for like, because not all the drones are sold in the UK. Like, no matter, even if they did make it, people are just gonna fucking hack it and then just change it. Like,
and also the other thing is, like, you, as a drone owning person, were never gonna fly it near an airport, were you?
No, I was never going to, because you're got to be a fucking idiot to do that.
What's gonna stop someone from making a drone themselves and flying it by an airport?
That's what I think. From what I'm gathering,
that's
what they
issue.
did at Gatwick.
Yeah, that's
they made
the
their
issue.
own drone.
It's not like actual people buying drones. It's the lunatics that build their own drones, because then they wouldn't have any regulations on it, and then they just do it anyway.
what did I didn't look into the Gatwick thing. I just knew it happened. Like, what did people say? Did they try and say, "Oh, we're worried about being terrorists" or something? Because that annoys me.
They thought they obviously thought it was terror related, but then it turns out it wasn't. It was just targeted.
Everything's an act of terror.
I hate how now everything the police will bring up terror.
Yeah.
Because in the last 10, 15 years, there's been less terrorist attacks than the 15 years beforehand.
Because they've just classed it as a terrorist attack.
No, because the Irish were fucking little dickheads.
They were,
Yeah, now-
but we're getting off
moving
topic
to Muslims. How many Muslim terror attacks has there been in the UK? Like,
Gonna say,
6?
Ben, we're going
Yeah,
deep
but
off
we're
topic.
completely off topic from drones.
No,
Right,
I'm just
so
saying.
what I'm saying about drones is
Vote
that
for UKIP.
fucking hell, Joe.
No, I'm
like,
backing up the Muslims there, dipshit.
It also turns out that obviously with the Gatwick thing, they also introduced military grade equipment to counteract drones.
But how? But they're going to spend billions on all this radar so it can't fly, or they can get a local farmer to stand on a little chair with a sandwich.
No,
And
Eagle.
go,
The
bang.
Eagle's gonna fucking get his feet cut up, Adam.
Have you seen what an eagle does to a drone?
Yeah, only when it does it correctly.
Yeah, they're not gonna do it correctly every single time.
They do
No,
have
it
their
doesn't
feet cut.
It did say it's expensive, but it's fucking cool.
Yeah, because you have a lot of legless eagles.
No, they just hire us.
They
We
have
like
to go back
destroying
into
drones.
rehabilitation centres.
You know what? Just give me a high value paintball gun, and I reckon I can take down a fucking drone.
They're quite hard.
What?
To be fair, all you need to do is just have a coordinated bird strike, as we've proven before, and it just works wonders.
Well, Ben, we've got a
you're
drone that
suggesting
doesn't
to train like 50 pigeons and have them kamikaze drones.
Yes, I'm just saying we have enough pigeons.
But we only have but we have to train them.
Yeah, well,
If we can
just
train
train
into fucking race, we can train them to crash into a drone.
yeah.
No, do you know? Have you guys heard of? They trained pigeons to be homing bombs.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
like,
4 lines. Did
But
it?
then we made the computers that did the job. So like they had a pigeon tap an area with a picture of a boat on it, and it got food for it. So then when it was in the thing, it would tap like on a screen towards the boat in the sea, and that would cause it to like guide towards the boat and sink it. So pigeons, you could train them to do it. It's just a lot of fucking effort.
I'm just saying, but it'd be a
If
lot
it saves
cooler.
us money, if it saves us taxpayers money,
I know you're
rifle,
saying that. All we
a
need to
2-2
do.
would do the
Do
same thing.
you know when you see a drone that's caused you a nuisance, you
Yeah.
have about 1,000 pigeons, and then you just release them all in one go under it.
Shotgun
One of them
blast
fuckers
that
is going to
shit.
hit it.
You don't have
Yeah.
to train them,
Yeah,
you
but-
just have to fucking get them there.
You just
Ben,
have to throw 'em at
I
it.
mean, Will, what happens if that guy moves the drone like 100 meters over to the left? You have to move all the pigeons.
Well, no, because you've just shotgun blasted the area.
Oh, you're actually shooting the pigeons at it then.
Yeah, just load them into cannons, boys.
Spud gun them.
Yeah.
In
The same.
in France, their drone over a nuclear power plant, they've got a net gun,
Yeah.
Yep.
and then they also have a bigger drone to take out the smaller drones.
Yeah, they do. That's also another tactic, having another big drone
But
to
you got a big problem.
take it out.
But you've got another drone in airspace.
Yeah, and then I'm also going to say is, where does it stop?
And then
Do you
there's
build a bigger drone?
There's
and then
always
the
a
other
bigger
guy-
fish, isn't there, Joe?
Yeah. When they come back, they're going to have an even bigger drone.
Or they go for a quicker, smaller drone. They can get around the bigger drone.
Yeah. Just wear it out.
It's like Germany goes for big tanks, Japan goes for little tanks. Like it's just different.
So
different
I
things.
think from what we've kind of come to
Just
the
shoot the
conclusion of
fuck with
is
a
we've got
rifle.
our conclusion is just shoot them fucking down.
Shoot them with a rifle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like,
Don't
oh,
waste our
the
tax
bullet
money
might
on military grade
ricochet and hit
equipment.
someone. Fuck off. No, it's not going to. Shoot it with a rifle.
If Americans can shoot a tornado, we can surely shoot a drone.
Yeah, like if it's that bad, maybe shoot it toward to over the field or something, because there's loads of fields around airports.
Yep.
But like, just don't miss, and the bullet's not going to ricochet someone, is it? Fucking
No.
simple.
Okay.
I mean-
so our conclusion is just shoot them down. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Sweet.
yeah, it's quite
Or
self-explanatory,
jammers.
really.
Jammers would work, but they're just going to be expensive to install, and
Yeah.
you're also going to fuck with the planes as well.
So right, moving on from the drone topic, Ben.
That all the fuck you had?
We've literally covered it all. We've come to the conclusion of shoot them down. There's nothing else to discuss.
Buddy in your channel timed out.
What are you saying about fucking drone laws?
Oh, Joe's gone.
Joe's gone, so yeah.
Joe's left.
I thought this was drone laws. Is that all there is?
Ben,
That
there's
was-
literally no other drone laws.
That
I
was
can,
a solid 11 minutes. I don't know what you're on about.
I can read you out
Okay.
the rules and regulations of what you need.
No, just fucking put a link to them in the description. Okay, so my thing is obviously shitty things that the British government has done, but I had to limit myself, obviously.
What time period are we going
So
from?
anything after the Second World War, so anything after 1950 is what I went for.
Alright, yeah.
Oh, we've got to sit for Margaret Thatcher.
No, because everyone knows that shit.
Give me like a huge Labour
I
speech.
also I tried to go for more obscure things that people may not have heard of, and only stuff I could find evidence for.
Okay.
So I was gonna do if I can find the British government.
You
killing
gotta have
anyone.
evidence.
Yeah,
You
I
can't
was-
just
I was
make
gonna-
up
I was
shit.
gonna try and find if the British government poisoned anyone or anything like that. But the only thing I could find is on Russian websites. So
Yeah, so that might not be trustworthy.
So I've done a few things. I've got one really big one, and then a couple little ones, and then a thing for people to go look at themselves.
Okay.
Oh, you giving people homework?
Yeah. As in, I'm gonna put a link in the description to another video that I thought was quite good.
Alright.
Okay.
So the first thing is, you guys ever heard of the Anden emergency?
No.
No, mate, why don't you tell me some more?
So do you know what Yemen is?
Yes.
Yeah, man!
The country that
Yes.
we're supplying bombs to at the moment,
Like
but that's not what
cheapest
we're
joke I
talking
could
about at the
make.
moment. That's
Okay.
not what
Yeah.
I'm here to talk about.
That's a whole
So-
different topic.
So, in the 1960s, because of a whole empire thing, we owned a port in Yemen called Anden, in the city of Anden, and it was important as a military hub of the area.
Yeah.
And Yemen was like, "Can we have it back now, please?" And we were like, "Nope." So there was a few things so Yemen just started a bit of an independence movement against the British and for the control of the port, obviously. And they just started rioting, striking, all that kind of
Buddy joined your
gay
channel.
shit.
Sorry about that.
Uh-huh.
Internet dropped.
So what happened is there was a few riots, a few shootings, a bunch of grenades being thrown by the Yemen.
What towards
So,
the British?
Yeah, towards British. So in this, 42 soldiers died and 2 civilians, which were They were like officers' wives.
Yeah.
They were killed by shootings and grenades and bombings by the Yemen independent people because Britain was just refusing to leave.
Yeah.
So in an attempt to try and figure out who was doing these, Britain opened up interrogation centres. Yeah, it already sounds good, doesn't it? Or torture centres, as it would like lately. So what they did is they just started randomly picking people that they thought were involved in the movement, bringing them in.
So no evidence behind it, just randomly picking them.
No, people that were like involved in the independent movement.
Oh, okay. I thought you were literally just going into people's houses,
really
grabbing a grandmother.
Not enough evidence to say they've done the thing. Just they wanted it, like people that like considering
guesswork.
Everyone was involved in the independence movement.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they picked random people and they just started putting them in cells and shit. So a few things they did. I'll just read off my little list. So they'd strip them down and put them in basically big refrigerated cells, like
meat lockers.
Yeah, basically. Strip them down naked, left them in refrigerated cells to encourage frostbite and like other things. I have got it written down, but I can't read it.
Hypothermia.
Yeah, and other stuff like that.
Pneumonia.
The guards would stub cigarettes out on them. Basically, Guantanamo Bay, but for us.
Yeah, we've all had that done to us.
Have we?
They can man up a bit.
The guards would brutally, like, sexually abuse the prisoners. So they would crush their genitals, like, in their fist.
Ooh.
Like, some people pay for that stuff, but I'm guessing these people weren't into it.
Yeah. Just one fucker going, yeah, fucking
Yeah.
harder.
And there's a couple of cases.
How creeped out would
like,
you be though, being that officer? Just, man, if he talks to him, you got a guy there go, yeah, squeeze me harder.
Literally, that guy has fucking broke that officer. He's like, I don't want to do any torture anymore, please.
We'll speak about the officer later. Come on, we'll get around to it.
My bad.
And a couple of cases of like metal poles being shoved up arses. So like I didn't finish it like that. Most of the torture, like 90% of it, was committed by 3 people: an officer and 2 NCOs.
Mm-hmm.
And they obviously fucking knew it was wrong, because when they were talking to each other, they talked to each other using code names.
Okay. And what were these code names?
One of them was called Omar the Matis. The other one was called Al Girikan. And the other one was called Shepherd. So, Will, what the fuck were you doing?
Yeah, exactly. For fuck's
All
sake.
I'm saying is, the poles weren't just poles, they were like double-ended dildos.
So, there's been, like, these people, there's no, like, this came out in a bunch of, like, unsecretified records, like, 20 years afterwards.
Yeah.
When they're, like,
declassified?
Like, show, yeah. But before that, there was a bunch of investigations like called, but the British government and British military wouldn't do anything about it. Like, they'd just cover it up every time. So reporters would ask more. Like, the records were like, they were released, but then like not mentioned. So like hoping that they'd go under the radar, but they didn't. But then every time reporters brought it up, they'd just go fuck off, basically. Because like obviously,
Response.
They still used like all the wartime and. Like, for a while, the government would just use, the thing they used for the First World War to stop propaganda being spread around.
Yeah.
They use that basically nowadays, whenever they fucking want, when they don't like shit people are saying.
Makes sense.
Even though we do have freedom of expression, but not really.
It worked in World War One, didn't it?
Yeah, kinda. Yeah, so a bunch of shit like that. So obviously shit was said by the victims, but that was covered up for a while. Because people weren't actually killed. They were just like...
That's positive.
Well, they weren't killed in that. People were killed in the Aden emergency. Like a lot of people. Like all of the independence movements like around the empire. Like loads of people died. Basically the same thing has happened everywhere else when independence went for. Because everyone knows about them, don't they? Like the Indian partition and shit like that.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're just standard things.
Yeah, so... And then another thing is there was a... article written by a corporal that worked for one of these guys in a newspaper, and he nearly got court-martialed for it, but they kind of didn't. So that's the Anden emergency.
So what you're saying to me is that the British in the officer and the 2 NCOs took it upon themselves to torture him?
You say
Or-
take
No,
it upon themselves.
I feel like they were probably given the green light to be like, to
Yeah,
find
they
answers.
were definitely
Yeah.
given the green light. It might have not been officially been put down,
No.
but they were definitely given the green
They're
light.
Like,
free
they,
reign,
they,
pretty
they were in a
much.
room and they were like, don't torture him, right? But they were winking at him at the same time.
Yeah.
Like, you see that
Like,
We're
pole
going to
over
leave this
there?
metal pole for you.
Definitely do not put that at one of them asses. That's, you know.
Yeah.
Also,
And it didn't actually
definitely
get any
don't use them as
information.
ashtrays.
It didn't get any information at all. Like, that actually helped them out in this whole, like,
Yeah,
bombing
well, the
thing.
torture is, like, almost proven to be very useless in
Yeah, it just
the
gives
gathering
you
of
other people's
intelligence.
it gives you the names that you want, not the names that actually are.
Yeah, because, I mean, like, if you were torturing me, I would tell you anything. And if you told me that, I knew something that I didn't, I would still give you the names.
Yeah.
Because I would rather not be hurt. That's the honest answer of it. I'm not having my fingernails ripped off.
No, I wouldn't rip them off. I'd put a nail in between your fingernails and your finger first and then rip them off.
I mean, but I've already given you all the answers before this, mate. I'm safe.
Yeah, but I'm not going to believe you. You gave them too quickly, Will. You got to take a little bit of
Shit.
pain.
Yeah, exactly.
like-
You just don't go straight away. Like, so instead, hold the torture, save your tools. Right, so X, Y, and Z. These are the names. Go get them. We don't believe you. Just trust me.
Yeah, just trust me. I'm gonna be like
Please.
whatever his name is, out of Deadpool, the bar guy in Deadpool 2 when he gets captured by Cable.
Yeah.
Just instantly gives him everything. Just sitting there with an awkward erection, just like, yeah.
They're already on their fucking way.
Cool. So my next thing. So everyone knows that the British people invented concentration camps, don't we? In the Boer War.
I didn't, but go on.
Did you not know that?
No.
Oh, I didn't even do that. That's just like an intro to the next thing.
Oh, okay.
I might have to fucking like
Circle
that
round,
as well.
circle round.
So basically, the Boer War was for South Africa. A bunch of Dutch people moved over there, and they spoke like their special Africa language, and they were like farmers slash like wanderers and shit. They're like Western United States, but in South Africa.
Yeah.
And we were like, okay, you can have that. Cool, I'm cool with you having that land. And then it turned out, oh wait, there's diamonds there. Can I have that land now? And so we started a big war, and any Boer prisoners we went to concentration camps, which were quite bad. People starved to death and like were forced to do labour. Basically, not quite as far as death camps, but like the beginning stages, which like what the Germans started off with, we already had done. So did you not?
But you
know
see,
that? Joe and Will, did you know about the concentration camps?
Yeah, I'm just
What,
saying.
in a Boer War?
Yeah.
No.
I'm just saying
Did
you
know
should
that
have
we
stole our
had them
diamonds.
first, though?
There you go.
You know that we had them first, right?
Concentration camps.
Yeah.
And I
I don't think
didn't.
they were quite concentration camps.
No, they
were
were. They definitely were. People
but
starved
what
to death.
what I'm gaining from that is it was wrong to put people in concentration camps, but the British population learned the hard way that concentration camps are bad. Hence, when we found out that Hitler did it, we were like, shame on you.
It took because we definitely knew that Hitler was doing stuff like that for a while. No one liked the Jews in Europe at that point, so no one really cared.
Okay, so move on to what your actual topic was.
It was never a thing. The reason we invaded Germany was never because of what the Jews did. It was known, but that was never one of the primary reasons. People claiming that it is just BS.
Well, you can do another topic on that later.
So basically, that was just to go on to. It is linked, by the way. The Second World War. So that was to go on to the thing called Cyprus. You know, Cyprus, the island. We owned it for a bit. I'm not sure if we still do. Do we still own
We
Cyprus?
technically do. We've
Or
got
do
an
we own,
RAF
half
base
of
on
it?
there.
We're like half of it or something.
Yeah, there's like 3 countries involved, isn't it?
Yeah, so we had. So basically, after the Second World War, there's all the released Jews, and we made Israel and Palestine. I'm not going to go too much into it, but we made those countries, didn't we?
Yeah.
We screwed them over, didn't we? A bit of it.
Yeah, a little bit. But what we first, Israel then screwed over Palestine, and by that's just not worth getting into at all. So when we first made Israel, because all the Palestinians are already there, we limited the immigration of Jewish people to Israel. So it
Okay.
was limited to about 15,000 people a year. And,
Okay.
but a lot of Jewish people that were from camps and around the world wanted to go there straight away. So there was an awful lot of illegal immigration. So the way we dealt with that is we put them in concentration camps.
Again?
Yeah, we put the Jewish people 2 years after they'd escaped in German concentration camps into our own concentration camps.
Which fucking idiot thought, you know what, boys?
Well,
They've just come out of
It's
hell.
Well,
What
they
are
were
ones
Let's
like nice
re-put 'em in.
concentration camps though?
they were nicer. So
You
people
can't
did
make away
die.
a concentration
Nowhere near
camps.
the rate. It's more the emotional turmoil.
It was
they
like
kind
we
of
put
be
them.
put through.
We put them in a camp. That's what we did. You know,
A holiday
just
camp.
because some people like didn't realise you shouldn't probably feed them a lot of fucking food,
Hold on, but
even though they're starving.
No, we fed them well, and they did have medical care. There was people dying there, but there's a lot of debate on whether that was the normal
what actually
rate.
defines a concentration camp?
A camp with a high concentration of people.
Yeah, but
I was going
is
to
it-
say also.
Yeah, but does that involve like? Yeah, but also that population does get slaughtered every so often.
No, that's a death camp,
That's
No,
a
it's
death camp.
I also want to say, Ben,
and it wasn't a labour camp either.
this time, we were not first.
This time we were not. No, it's like it came back to us.
The Americans were first people to have
Oh,
concentration
the
camps.
Japanese.
No,
Oh,
no.
Were
They,
there concentration camps? What was theirs then?
Native Americans.
Oh yeah, but
The Americans against like Native Americans.
what in
All I'm
pretty
saying
sure.
is there must be, no, before like America had them, there must have been a civilization where they did put people
but they
in.
just kill people.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
But they weren't putting people in camps. Yeah, apparently
And
America were the first people to have
The
it.
whole thing is that concentration camps can only happen in the modern world because this wouldn't have the logistics and the production power and food growth power to actually.
Or like an army, because back then you didn't really have like an army
No.
to be able to like divide it
Yeah,
up to have like a
you
prison
just wouldn't
service.
be able to maintain it.
No.
So there's the Cyprus camps. They were nowhere near as bad. People did die in them. About 600 people died over like a 4-year period. But I think there was about quite a few thousand people there.
Yeah.
20 odd thousand. And like there's debates on whether that's just the normal death rate or it was extended because they were like in the expect. So it's quite a ragtag place. So it was beforehand one of the camps was used for like rebels from like somewhere in Arab rebels, and the other one was made brand new. A lot of the debates, because at that time we still had German prisoner of war camps.
Yeah.
So a lot of international Jewish like communities were saying the Germans have nicer camps than the Jewish illegal immigrants do. The German prisoners of war have treat nicer than the Jewish immigrants are. That was one of the big things.
But like,
When we realised, shit, there's a big issue, we have a problem, we'll have to deal with it. So then we started releasing Jews from the camp into Israel at a rate, prioritising sickly, elderly, and pregnant people.
yeah.
And people with like families and stuff.
Because burials are getting too expensive, so we're like, yeah.
So about 60% of the people in the Cyprus camps were Jewish survivors of the Holocaust. That's the big thing here. It's not the fact that illegal immigrants are put in camps. It's that 2 years after they survived the Holocaust, they were put back in similar camps. They weren't anywhere near as bad, but it's just the emotional turmoil they must have gone through at that point.
Yeah, to think, oh my god, is it going to happen again?
It's strange Ben caring about emotions. That's what I'm
No.
getting out of here.
I have to do this shit. I don't care about it personally. It honestly doesn't hit me at all. It's just interesting facts to me.
Like Ben's
Just-
sitting there. I imagine Ben's crying as he read about this.
Just going
subject.
back to the topic of, like, they were saying that the German prisoner POWs had nicer camps than what the Jewish had.
All I could find is like international Jewish like organisations and communities were saying this. So no news articles. So it may have been over exaggerated. It may have just been to prove a point. I honestly don't know. There's
But
not
isn't
that
that
much
also
like, evidence on it.
to do with, like, the Geneva Convention, like prisoners of war have to be treated a certain way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
But technically, could you will the immigrants not have to be treated the same way? It's a thing. Like, would the illegal immigrants not have to be treated the same way? The refugees. There's certain laws about refugees.
But you've also got to think that like the POW camps were built long term during the course of the Second World War, weren't they?
No, they weren't built long term.
No, I'm on about they were
the whole
built
thing
during
with
the Second World
POW
War.
camps is they could make the Germans make them themselves, where they
Yeah.
couldn't make the Jews make them themselves. So the Germans obviously didn't work hard to make their own thing. I honestly didn't look into it. I just saw that allegations had been made that German camps were nicer. I didn't find any solid evidence upon it.
But then, if you said that like it was mainly like from the Jewish community saying that sort of stuff,
Yeah,
wasn't
it
it?
was mainly the Jewish community.
So could that just be a way of them trying to get back at the Germans for what they did, which is
Oh, no,
understandable?
they weren't trying to get at the Germans. They're trying to get at the British government for putting people in camps.
Okay. It would have been kind of weird.
Yes,
Yeah.
these were Holocaust survivors. They went through a hard thing. They were technically also illegal immigrants, which in our modern society get a lot of hate, don't they?
Yeah.
So no one's going to be that sympathetic to them. No one's ever really been that sympathetic to the Jewish population.
No, they've literally been fucked over their
They
entire
don't-
existence.
Israel doesn't help because what they've done to Palestine is fucking horrific. You can convert to be Jewish, but only certain sects.
I mean, what? Doesn't matter.
Sects,
Isn't it
not
also
sects.
like-
No,
not
it doesn't matter.
Jewish
Yeah, I
unless
understand.
Isn't some of it like if you're not Jewish unless your mother is?
Yeah. If your mother's Jewish, you have Jewish heritage. Because the
Oh.
Jew, the religion, and Jewish, the race, debatably. I don't think they're a race, personally, but other people think they are.
So does that mean we're the English race?
In Judaism themselves, if your mother is Jewish, you are Jewish.
It's just a weird religion, isn't it?
We're based off it. We're very similar to them.
Yeah, obviously I know we're based off it, but
We don't listen to our Old Testament anywhere near as severely as they listen to it.
so
It's sort of like another book.
from what we've learned from Ben is that British were technically involved with torture in Yemen.
Yep.
But that's all hush hush. And we technically also invented concentration camps,
So,
second to the Americans in the Boer Wars.
yeah.
And we were dicks to the Jews when they came out of the concentration camps by putting them back in.
God, we've set a very high
So,
threshold for our
the
first
Jewish thing-
podcast.
I was gonna say, Adam's topic was really light, and I mean, you can make jokes about it, and then Ben took it off a car crash, and you make jokes about what Ben's been talking about. You're literally going to hell.
You have no career left.
Yeah, you can't Ben's just really shot us all in the foot here. We have to sit and listen to it and be like, yeah, okay, mate. You can't just go puffing off jokes.
So, my next thing.
Oh,
You
God.
got another one?
Yeah.
Is it a little bit more light-hearted?
This
This
one
one
is
say the
more
British
of a-
government
this
did
one's
something
more of a
good.
This is more of a conspiracy theory.
Oh,
than
God.
reality.
Okay, so
So
we
this
can...
is. I've told you
Drunk
guys about
drivers
before.
do crash cars in tunnels, alright? I'm just saying.
This is the death of Diana.
Oh, God.
But did I literally
Yeah.
get it right?
Yeah, you got it
Did
right.
I literally guess it?
So
Okay,
I'm not
I
going
said
that
all I need
into
to say.
detail. I'm going to send the listeners over to another video that had this in a lot more detail. But
And then, can they also watch a sketch about it?
I don't have one.
A Mitchell and Webb. No, it's Mitchell and Webb.
Oh,
They do a sketch about Diana's.
We'll put 2 links in the description, but it's just a bunch of shit about
Yeah.
how people think the CIA and the British government and wanted to get rid of Diana because apparently the CIA want to get rid of her because she was against landmines, along with Hillary Clinton because they were friends and they were anti-landmine charities, and the CIA didn't like
To be fair,
that.
who's pro landmines?
Apparently the CIA. No.
I was gonna say, if you came up to me and said,
It's
"What's
'cause
your
they were
stance on
selling them.
landmines?"
It's
I'd
'cause
probably
the
go
American
mostly
government-
neutral.
It's because the American military system sells about 60% of the world's arms around. We sell quite a few ourselves, to be honest.
If not,
Um,
I'd probably slightly against them because I don't want to step on one.
And the other thing, I didn't like the fact that she was engaged to a Muslim fella.
Oh, yep.
Was she still married to Prince Charles at that point?
No,
She's
were
divorced.
No, she was divorced.
All
okay.
I'm saying is you can like the Michelin Weblock sketch is about MI6 ordering the hit on her, and I mean it's quite good.
Yeah, so we'll put both links to both those videos, but it won't tell you which one's which. So you click a link and you see what you get.
You're either going to get
Potluck.
informational one about the CIA pro landmines.
It's another podcast that I think is really good, but the issue is they only made 2 episodes of it. So you guys
Definitely watch that one over our one.
Yeah, like we can watch both. You all have free time, and it'll also that other one goes more into detail about what Princess Diana's and Charles's life was like, what the kids thought of it, and so why they thought she was how they thought that they killed her. So they thought a white car was involved in a moped that flashed the driver, and they thought the driver was bribed. One of the their security guy was bribed, but he thought he was gonna not die from it, but they actually planned to kill him as well. So he ended up dying as well, didn't he? So.
Oh Jesus Christ, that's
so
brutal.
This one is sort of like
it's just
going against what the new podcast sort of is like when we were going to tell him information. It's literally like, here you go, here's the information to go find out more information that we're not going to provide for you.
I'm sending him to another podcast that I think deserves a bit of credit.
Okay, fair enough.
And then along the same lines is a funny sketch about it.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Nice.
we've covered drone laws, covered
Concentration
torture,
camps.
concentration camps.
We had an emergency, a little bit of the Boer War concentration camps, a little bit of the Cyprus camps, and a little bit of Princess Diana's death.
Just a little bit.
Today.
So
Join us next week when we talk about Brexit.
Before we finish, that may be a topic depending on what happens on the 14th of January.
True, yeah.
Wait, question. What was everyone's opinion? In
On what?
Brexit.
No, we can do that. No, we'll do that next.
That's for the Brexit one, mate.
Okay.
So before we end this, we are just going to talk about I haven't talked to you guys about this. What I think we should talk about what our plans are for 2019.
Yeah.
This is just thrown in.
Yeah, seeing that we've just got a little bit left of the podcast. Yeah.
Yeah.
So shall we talk about what we want to do with the channel and what we're going to do?
There's a skit coming out soon-ish. I say soonish. It'll be the end of Jan.
February.
Will seems to be the main architect.
It'll be the end of Jan. A skit's coming out, and that'll explain everything.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Also, the podcast has moved from 1 week to a fortnightly. So it gives us time to do research.
Well, bi-weekly, as Ben likes to put it, to do research. And I'm going to imagine there's lots of stuff in here that we've got wrong factually.
Yeah. So if you do want to look it all up and correct me, feel free. I'm not going to be posting my sources because I can't be bothered.
Literally how we're rolling.
I cannot be asked to post my sources because that is a lot more effort than you people deserve.
Okay,
harsh, but true.
Okay.
So you find it all yourself.
Kind words from Ben. Thank you.
Good words to end on, I think.
Yeah.
You posting your sources?
I may do. We need to make a decision right now. From now on, are we going to post sources?
No,
because
it's
that's
effort.
Literally, all I need to do is put
sources
Wikipedia.
Right, Wikipedia, sorted. We'll leave a link to Wikipedia in the description.
Just put sources, Google it, bitch.
And if you've done your bit, you have to donate to Wikipedia.
Right, so thank you all very much for listening to this first podcast of 2019.
Yep.
And
Beautiful
we will
topics.
see you in a fortnight.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, probably.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.